Hi everyone, today I'm going to test the top rated Target foundation. Today I'm going to do this Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation. So before I use this foundation, I use a CeraVe PM lotion. I also used a sunscreen called Kiehl's Broad Spectrum SPF 50. So after I put the lotion, I put the sun lotion, then I give it 5 minutes. Then I use a sponge to apply this. So for now, because I just got ready, from what I can tell is that this color I chose is the natural beige. It's a little bit darker than my real skin tone. We can tell the comparison between my hand and my face. But having a darker foundation isn't necessarily bad because it will make your face look, it has more structure. If I use some foundation that is much lighter than my skin tone, my skin look like a flat surface, like a paper. So darker isn't always bad. This is a nude beige. From what I can tell now, it's like it did conceal really well because I did my freckle removal a couple of months ago, and I had some red spots everywhere before I putting on makeup. Now it's like really hard to tell, even under camera using this bright light we cannot tell, which is a very good thing. We can also see that my skin is still very moisturized through all those products. So I don't know as time goes by if they're going to be absorbed and leave me a very natural, smooth looking. I kind of hope so because I don't want to look kind of oily all day long. On the other hand, for a lot of other foundations, what happens is that as time goes by, the moisture is going to be absorbed from the foundation, from the skin into the foundation, so leave the skin very dry. So I have experienced that. There are times when I put on certain foundation, at the end of the day, the skin around my eyes feels very dry, and I had to spray some setting sprays or moisturizing sprays to make my skin feel better. So I will come back in 6 or 7 hours with no touch up on the foundation. I probably do some touch up on the lipsticks and tell you how I felt about this Milani foundation. See ya. Hi, here I am after 9 hours. I know I promised I would come back after 6 or 7 hours, but life got really busy. I did yoga, I had lunch, I went to work in the lab for 6 to 7 hours. Then I came back, prepped dinner, had dinner. Now I'm here. So during the dinner prepping, I have cut up onions, so I had tears everywhere. So that may have something to do with the blurry lines of my eyeliners, but it's not very obvious. So what we can see from the outcome is that the foundation stayed pretty well over here and here. The part that the foundations came off is my nose and the area over here and probably a little bit over here. I cannot blame on the foundation very much because I blow my nose during the day very often. Probably the tissue kind of rub off the foundation. Overall, the foundation stayed really well. When I was making phone calls, some of those powders got on the screen of my cell phone, but it's not very severe. It didn't get on my coat or anything. So overall, it stayed, I would say, 80%. And now we talk about the coverage. I already mentioned I had some scars from the removal of the freckles. We can see over here, none of the scars are very obviously shown. The scar that is shown is over here, which I probably wiped off a lot of foundation so we can see the redness, and probably a little bit over here. As I mentioned, I cannot blame on the foundation very much. So overall, I like this foundation. I only spent probably 10 to 12 bucks to buy this foundation from Target online. So for its price, it's very, very good. A lot of foundations that would cost people 40 to 50 bucks probably would work similarly or not even as good as this one. I would I would recommend this foundation to people who have dry skin like me, because during the day I don't feel my skin is dry out. I didn't see the burst out of the dry skin tissues, and I didn't see the foundation emphasize the fine lines around my face, around my eyes. I did see a little bit over here, but it's not very severe. I think it will work really well for people with dry skin like me. And I also think this foundation works really well for people who have skin conditions to cover, especially the redness, because this foundation is on the thick side, so it covered the redness very well. I almost couldn't see the red spots on my face. If you have very, very good skin condition, you just want something very light to just even out the skin tone, you may find this foundation a little bit on the thick side. You may not like the thickness when you apply it on your skin. Overall, for people who have dry skin and want coverage, this is pretty good. I'll say out of 100 point, I would give 90 point to this foundation. Okay, here is my review for today. Thank you for